Hi, I'm Ruby Boots, and you're watching the AU Review.
Well, welcome back to Sydney.
Thank you.
You've been travelling around for a little while.
Yeah.
With Tony Joe White.
Yeah, we've been in New South Wales since Wednesday with Tony Joe White.
How have the shows gone?
The shows have been incredible. I love New South Wales. I love Sydney. I love playing in Sydney. It's one of my favourites, if not my favourite place to play in Australia.
And what's it been like sharing the stage with Tony?
Well, it's an honour, really. I mean, he's kind of like the godfather, isn't he? So we've been really fortunate to be opening for him, and yeah, it's been great watching him every night and getting down and dirty with the blues.
There's nothing wrong with that. Had you seen him before you'd kind of gotten to perform with him?
Had I seen him live?
Yeah, before you toured.
I haven't seen him live before, no. So, yeah, it was 5 nights in a row. We got to see him every night. And he is a great drummer as well. Plays with Emmylou Harris as well and a bunch of other cats over there. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really good to see him play as well.
Music royalty right there.
Uh-huh.
And we were talking off camera as well before, not too long ago, well, I guess was it the beginning of this month, you were touring with Shaky Graves and Shovels and Rope.
Yeah, we did a full national tour with Shaky Graves and Shovels and Rope, and that tour was incredible. That was almost how we started the month. I think yesterday was our 18th show for March, so we've done quite a few shows around the country in March, but I think the best show that we played out of all of those shows was actually the Sydney show with Shovels and Rope and Shaky Graves. It was pretty wild.
What do you think made it kind of elevate above the rest?
I don't know. I think it was the high-pitched screams as soon as we got onto the stage. I think we were excited to hear that. But I don't know, there was a fever in the room and it just felt good. It felt like it was, people felt like they were on edge and they wanted to get a little wild, and it was a fun night, yeah. How do I feel that I fit into that? I feel that my music definitely represents a sound that's coming out of there, but I think it's a little different because it's Australian. So, I think there are similarities and differences between that, and I think that's really good for me. But I'm really drawn to what a lot of those guys are doing, just I guess because intrinsically I've been doing that with a little more country edge maybe for 6 or 7, maybe a little longer years. So it's nice to feel it all coming over this way from America and being able to fit in with that over here.
Well, let's talk about the new record.
Okay.
We were just talking about very briefly talking about the new single off it, and let's talk about the making of the record. I guess we'll start there. What point did the music for Solitude get started?
Solitude was written, I had around 35 songs that I wanted to pick from, and basically it was most of the last of the songs, whereas Wrap Me in a Fever was kind of in the middle a little bit, but as I was saying, there were about 35 songs, and I think a lot of them were older and a good place to start for me writing the record, and most of the songs on the album were much later in the game out of that 2-3 year writing process. Wrap Me in a Fever was kind of in the middle of that. It was like the benchmark of what to use after and what not to use prior to that. And Solitude, the title track was actually quite an old song. So but it always seemed to have stuck with me. So it was a mix mash of how new or old they were. There were a few tracks that are on there that I wrote with Vicky Thorne. She plays in the Waifs. A couple of the songs on there were over 2 different writing trips to her ranch in Utah. So they were obviously newer, but they spanned over both those trips. And Middle of Nowhere was the first song that we wrote together. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so these are songs, some of these songs we're already familiar with from you playing them live, others will be new to us. Uh-huh. How do you take all those kind of tracks and then decide, okay, this is the track listing, this is how it's going to sound? Do you work with other people to make those decisions, or did you have a very clear idea about this is how the album's going to sound and this is how the album's going to look?
Yeah, once I had collated all the tracks together, it was really funny. I knew that I was kind of a little frustrated with what I was doing at the time. It wasn't really hitting me to my core It wasn't the lyrics weren't saying what I wanted to say. The sound wasn't describing what I wanted. So once I sat down with all the tracks, there were tracks that fit into that basket where I felt I'd moved on from my older stuff to the place that I've reached for the new record. And it was pretty obvious to me, and there were actually 2 records there, 2 albums. So yeah, I think having it more guitar driven and really realizing that I could do that with a lot of the songs that are on the record, that was a given. More guitar, more keys. That was when the songs when I imagined them to lend themselves to that, I felt that I wanted to use them instead, you know?
Did you ever feel any desire to kind of even go bigger than that and have a bigger band, or did you always kind of want to keep it at that level?
Well, it was funny because the first 2 songs I did here in Sydney, and the first song was Solitude, and the other one was another song which I haven't really listened to since we did it, but there's horns and big backing vocals and all that kind of stuff, and immediately I knew that it just wasn't where I wanted to take it. And I think sometimes the biggest mistakes, you know, or the places that you take something, I guess it's just trying things out, but as I tried it out pretty much straight away and knew intrinsically and in my gut that that wasn't where I wanted to take the record. So most of the songs, you know, are arranged with just the 5-piece touring band, you know, which is easy to replicate live, which is I'm excited about, because the tracks excite me as they are on the album, you know, like I didn't feel like I wanted to put anything else on it. So yeah.
Well, can't wait for everyone to hear the record.
Yeah, me too.
And you know, I guess what do you hope people take away from it?
I just hope the lyrics speak to people, you know. I hope it connects with people, and yeah, I hope they get excited by it and they put it on for the 2nd and 3rd time around. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck with the release of the record.
Thank you so much.